The author of Maggie Goes on a Diet is joining us in just a minute, but let's talk about this. This is controversial, correct?
Well, I know what I'm probably going to hear from the four of you, but, you know, personally, I like it. It's such a big problem. It's such a tough issue to address and nip in the bud. Given that a lot of the problem is with the parents, this gives the kid the opportunity to make the decision on his own. The parents can't go, hey, you're overweight, you have to do this. If you have this book in front of them, and I think that the illustrations are cool.
Drew, Amazon lists the reading level as ages 4 to 8.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have a 4-year-old reading a book about diet?
Just the title.
But it's a success story. Even just the pictures, they tell the story so well. She's overweight. She's getting picked on. She's getting bullied.
I disagree
It's a
with how
message
they're
to other
telling
kids
it well,
too.
because they actually put her down and they talk about her fat behind.
Yeah, but that's reality.
No, you don't want it. But that's not the way you approach
guess what?
children.
I know it's tough love.
Exactly.
But it's such.
Exactly.
I mean, I think hold on real quick. I couldn't hear Dr. Lisa's point.
That's not the way you approach children. And first of all, it is mostly the parents, and they just need to change the lifestyle, change what the child is eating. It's not a diet; it's a change of lifestyle, and that's what the child
Change
has to
the
learn.
title.
Yes.
Changed it to Maggie Eats Healthy or something.
I'm not saying I'm in love with the title. The title could be changed, but I think the message is there, and I think it's done in such a way you have to make an impact on the kid, not an impact on the parent. And that's what this book does.
You say this is a success story, but I think, somebody that reads this book, a teen or a younger child that isn't able to lose the weight is going to feel like a failure, and that child's going to be demoralized.
No, I mean, you have to at least try. I think there's inspiration here. She had the problem. She was picked on. She didn't like the way she looked, and she ended up being a successful soccer player.
But what if she wasn't? What if she didn't make it? She'd still be a failure? No, she wouldn't be a failure.
And this implies that if you are overweight, you're a failure. We should just...
Well, then what you're doing is just throw in the towel and don't even try.
No,
because you may fail.
I like some of the message. I just don't like some of the wording. The word diet, we don't like to use diets in kids. Diets can be dangerous in kids.
Exactly. It's how you craft the message. And let me tell you, it's critical.
It is critical. And before we bring in the author, one thing to back you up, Drew, is that, interestingly, a new study came out, and it showed that parents of teenagers are more afraid to talk to their teens about weight than they are about drugs and sex and alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was a shocking finding, I thought, but maybe it does get to the heart of the matter, which is how can you teach your kids how to be healthy? I think the four of us on this side are saying this isn't the correct way. Drew, you're saying it's fine, but let's hear from the author himself, Paul Kramer. He wrote Maggie Goes on a Diet. He's on the phone. So, Paul, you've been listening to us discuss this. This is an explosive issue because you're talking about a book that is listed for ages 4 to 8 on Amazon. Barnes & Noble puts it at age 6 to 12. And you're telling the person to go on a diet. How can you defend that?
Well, hi. First of all, you've all made some great points. The reality is that Maggie basically cut out a lot of junk food and did, in fact, go on a diet. You want to call it something else? Eating healthy? Yes, she went on a diet, and in how she went on a diet is she began to eat healthy.
It comes down to the definition of diet. I mean, your diet... Your diet is what you are eating, Jillian Michaels. And
but that's not what this implies. This implies she went on a diet, like adult word, like counting calories. You do not, this is not how you talk to children.
Show everyone what the first page is, because I think this is maybe what we have a problem with.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's just
big fat Maggie.
Yeah, chomping
porking down
in
at night in the fridge.
It's just not.
It's not a message for kids.
Yeah.
Paul, when you're trying to get a child to make changes, it has to come from a compassionate standpoint. I will tell you right now, when I look at this book, I don't see a lot of compassion. I see you're fat, make some changes, otherwise, quote unquote, you're not worth much. You don't have friends, you're not going to do well in school, you're not going to be athletic. And I think the data has shown that that's not the way you approach it. So I respectfully disagree, as do the rest of us.
That's fair enough, but
we certainly do appreciate you coming on to talk about it, Paul.